You know those days where just one little negative thought pops into your head and it just sticks around, and all of a sudden your whole mood takes a nosedive? Well, what if I told you you could actually stop those thoughts before they even get started? Today, we're going to build a super practical toolkit for your mind. Let's get into it.
Does this one sound familiar? Oh yeah. You make one tiny mistake and boom, this is where your brain goes. It's a classic automatic thought. And honestly, it's usually the little seed that grows into something way, way bigger.
See, here's the thing about a thought like that. It hardly ever shows up alone. It's like it sends out a group text to all its negative friends, and before you know it, you're in what psychologists call a negative thought spiral.
And this is that nasty cycle of rumination, right? Where we just get stuck on a thought, playing it on a loop. I'm such an idiot morphs into, everyone must think I'm incompetent, which then spirals into, I'm totally going to get fired. You get trapped in this loop, and man, it can feel absolutely impossible to get out.
So why? Why do our brains even do this? Well, it's not some personal failing, I promise you. It's actually a really common feature of how our minds are wired. Let's pull back the curtain and look at the psychology behind it, specifically something called cognitive distortions.
The best way to think about these are like common mental glitches. Our brains are always trying to be efficient, to take shortcuts, but sometimes in that process they create these wacky, exaggerated thought patterns. They feel real, but they aren't facts. They're just these well-worn paths in our brain that we default to. And guess what? Pretty much every single one of us has them.
And what's so wild is how recognizable these are, right? Catastrophizing. That's when a tiny worry, like a weirdly short email from your boss, immediately becomes, oh my God, I'm getting fired. All or nothing thinking, that's when you get 1C on a test and decide, well, that's it, I'm a complete failure. And mind reading, oh, that's a fun one. Someone gives you a weird look and your brain just concludes, they hate me, with absolutely zero proof.
So just recognizing these glitches is a huge step, but learning how to manage them, that is the real game changer. And the best part is, this isn't about having more willpower, it's about learning a new skill. So let's build a simple 3-step framework that you can start using literally today. First things first, and this is probably the most crucial step of all. You just have to notice that it's happening. I mean, think about it. You can't fix a glitch in a program if you don't even know it's running, right? It all starts with awareness.
And here's the key. The goal is not to beat yourself up for having the thought, not at all. It's to become a neutral observer, like a scientist. So when that thought pops up, you just label it. Ah, there's that all or nothing thinking again. Just by naming it, you instantly create a little bit of space between you and the thought, and that's where its power starts to fade.
Okay, so you've spotted the glitch. You see it happening in real time. Now what? The next move is to hit the brakes before that spiral really starts picking up speed. We need what's called a pattern interrupt, basically a circuit breaker for your brain. And this is a fantastic tool for that. It comes from a therapy called DBT, and it is so simple but so powerful. It's called the stop skill. When you feel that wave of negativity hitting, you literally just STOP, freeze, don't move. Then take a really deep breath. Observe what's going on in your head and in your body, and only then do you proceed, but mindfully, making a choice about how to act instead of just reacting.
Here's another amazing technique for slamming on the brakes. When your mind is spinning out of control, it's usually because it's stuck worrying about the past or the future. This grounding exercise yanks your brain right back into the present moment. By forcing yourself to focus on your senses, what you can actually see, touch, hear, you interrupt that spiral and get anchored back in reality.
And now for the final piece of the puzzle. Once you've detected the thought and you've interrupted its momentum, you've created this beautiful little pocket of space. The goal now is to use that space to gently challenge that glitchy thought and build a more balanced, a more realistic story. This question is at the very heart of a technique called cognitive restructuring. See, instead of just swallowing your negative thought as 100% fact, you put it on trial, you question it. Just because you think something, that doesn't make it true. So you have to ask, okay, brain, where's the hard evidence for this? Is there any other way to look at this situation? This is your chance to become a thought detective. A really cool tool for this is something called a thought record. It's simple. You just jot down the situation, your automatic thought, and then you play detective. You actively look for evidence that supports the thought, but also, and this is key, evidence that doesn't support it. This whole process helps you shift from pure emotional reaction to a much more logical, balanced evaluation.
And this slide right here perfectly illustrates the end goal. Notice, you're not trying to replace a negative thought with some fake, overly positive one. That doesn't work.
You're aiming for balance, for realism. Moving from I'm a total failure, which is classic all or nothing thinking, to I made a mistake, which is human, and I can learn from it. Wow, that is a massive, massive shift. It's realistic, it's kind, and it's incredibly empowering.
Now, it is so important to remember that all of this, it's a skill. It's just like learning to play the piano or learning a new language. You are not going to be perfect overnight. It takes real, consistent practice to build these new mental muscles and to let those old automatic negative pathways get a little weaker.
Feeling a little overwhelmed by all these new tools? Please don't be. The goal is to just start small. Seriously, just pick one thing. Maybe for the next week, your only goal is to get better at labeling the thought. Or maybe you just try the 5-4-3-2-1 technique the next time you feel stressed. Focus on that one thing until it starts to feel a little more natural. And I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Maybe the goal here isn't to have a perfectly silent, empty mind. I mean, our brains are kind of wired to have negative thoughts sometimes. Maybe the real victory is changing our relationship with those thoughts. So instead of going to war with your own mind, what if you just learned how to respond to its glitches with a little more awareness, a little more space, and a whole lot more kindness?